will be recorded. So if you guys have any extra questions or you want to re-listen to it, we will put it on our website. Or you can email us and we can get you the information. But like I said, my name is DeAndre. I'm the programs coordinator here. I primarily work with any of our external events, workshops, office hours, our member events, pretty much any of the programming we do here. I have some type of part in it, even if I'm not leading that program. Um, and we can get started. Let me get the screen out of here. There we go. All right. So Ascender is a co-working space where we primarily work with entrepreneurs. Um, we've been around since 2016, and well, we've been around in our boot camp since 2016. We've been able to help over 200 founders launch their business and also develop those businesses along the way. Ascender is a place where we like to start, build, scale companies, and also where real founders are able to, sorry, I was trying to move this. Here we go. Um, yeah, where real founders are really able to find community. I feel like a lot of people in the Pittsburgh area, especially as an entrepreneur, it can get really lonely. So we always are trying to find a place where we can, ask questions, find other entrepreneurs that are going through the same situation and things like that. And Cinder, we try to pride ourselves on being a space like that for you guys. I don't know why my arrow is not working. There we go. All right, now here are some of our core values. So, and we have four core values: invest in each other, um, dream big, strive for excellence, and embody inclusion and respect. Next, here are February events. Um, like I said, we always have a whole bunch of programs going on. So this is how most of our months usually look, from office hours to our boot camps. This is our second info session for the month. We usually do like member events. This month we had our Valentine's Day breakfast. We had our monthly workshop talking about sales and marketing, which next month is about bookkeeping. And that's open to the public for people to come along with our office hours. And you can find more information on that on our website if you are interested. Now, our core focus, we want to build a Pittsburgh where entrepreneurs are valued, seen, and invested. And then also our main niche are we're open to tech startups and small micro business owners across many industries. Mhm. And here's our Ascender team. There's me and Ume. You can find us on the Ascender website page where you can find our information, and then there's a little bit more about us. Now let's talk about impact. Ascender, like I said, we've been doing boot camp for about since 2016. So over that time, we've been able to invest in over 750 over 750 founders. We've been able to give away over $70,000 in mini grants, which we do give out mini grants each year. And then we also been able to use $150,000 of our resources to make sure that our entrepreneurs are getting service in our community. And then also we like to be diverse and make sure that everybody's included. So we have worked with over 35 different industries. Mhm. Now here, a lot of people will ask about eligibility. Some people just want to know, are they the right type of company that we can service? So here's some of our requirements. Like I said, we're open to tech startups and small micro businesses across many industries. You must be 18. All you have to do is generate between 100 to $200,000. Um, you have to be a full participant. The boot camp is mandatory for you to be in person for all 5 days. Desire to build something that you want to turn into a full-time job, and also business must operate in Allegheny County. So here are some of the four unique things that we like to offer to our entrepreneurs here at Ascender. We always want to make sure we listen more than we tell. You go to a lot of places and places just tell you, hey, this is what you need, this is what you need, this is what you need. But we want to allow you to come in and actually share your experiences so we can help you find out what you need and meet you exactly where you are. All right, next we always want to be financially focused and help our founders develop their businesses and also gain income. That's why we're all doing it. Um, then we also have dynamic education where our education here are designed for founders specifically. Um, and then we always want to have an integrated community to make sure that everybody is included, from different backgrounds, different stages, and then we can always lean on each other and learn different things. All right. There we go. All right. So next, how do we help our founders succeed? All right. So here we want to make sure that our founders, we keep them accountable. We want to make sure that they're able to have connections from whenever they enter a sender. You meet some people and you can develop those relationships outside of a sender and come back and make some more. We also want to make sure that you're able to use these strategies to make a profit. And then we also just want to make sure that you come in with a better strategy than you had when you first walked in the door. And then next, how we help founders succeed in the Pittsburgh community because a lot of people seem to not know that we have a lot of things for the public, from our workshops, our networking events. We also do strategy from our office hours experts. They do a lot of strategy, marketing, sales, a whole bunch of different things that you can come talk to entrepreneurs that have been in your space and has been able to work with multiple different companies. All right. And then we also have our newsletter where you can learn more about everything that we have going on each month. Mhm. So now I want to talk about some of the people who has come through our boot camp. Here is one of our members, Revitalize Energy. Before he went through our boot camp, he really just lacked the network, the mentorship, and resources. And after working with us and being able to develop his business, he was able to win multiple pitch competitions and raise over $100,000 for his business. Mhm. And then next we have Dance Supply, where Dance Supply was another company who uh, really just lacked the ability to scale his business. He had an idea. He just, really didn't know where he wanted to go with it or how to develop it. And then whenever he came to a sender, we were able to help out with a lot of that. And then now he has over 2,000 ballet dancers a part of his company. And then here are one of our most recent members, Dad App. Before he came, he just had a prototype of an app. He really didn't know how to develop an app or how to launch it. But then whenever he came to Ascender, he was able to win a pitch competition for over $75,000, which we helped him put together. And then also we were able to connect him with the CTO, who's a good friend of Ascender's. Um, And then next, talking about the application. The application is usually a lot of questions around it every year. So there's just some of the things I just want to touch on. And if you have any more questions about the application process at the end, we're here to answer them for you. But to start, the first question is describe the problem you are solving or the demand, the market opportunity you aim to address. Here you just want to get as detailed as possible. You really want to talk about the problem and why it needs solved. We all can always find the problem with everything in life, but we also need to understand why it needs solved. So let's try to get as detailed as possible. You can use numbers, you can use experiences. Um, but don't think that, hey, I don't want to write too much. I want to keep it short. No, give us more detail. And that's always better for us as we look through applications. Excuse me. And then next we have describe your solution and why it's unique. Like I said, we want you to get very detailed to talk about your solution. You can talk about your experience and you can talk about how you believe that this will be what is needed to solve your problem. And then next is who is your target market? All right. So this part right here, a lot of people, you know, they try to get broad. They might say, "Oh, my target market is adults between 20 to 60," you know. Um, but we really want you to get really detailed. And if that's okay, if your target market is between 20 and 60, that's fine. But now let's break it down in segmentations because how you market to a 20-year-old is different how you market to a 55-year-old. Just totally different generations. So on our next slide here, you want to get really detailed as far as the age. Where this person lives. Do they live in the city or the suburbs? Have they graduated college or high school? How much money do they make a year? Let's try to get as detailed as possible about who our target customer is, and that lets us know a lot about your business and how we can help you. Mhm. And then the last one here is to list at least three competitors. All right. Now this one, it's usually not a lot of questions surrounding it, but we will have people say, "Oh, I don't have a competitor." We will have people say, "Oh, there's only one competitor that I know of." But usually you're not the first person to come up with the idea. But even if you are, there are direct competitors. There are competitors um, that might not be direct to your solution, So please do your research. Please find at least three competitors, three things that might hinder you from your solution being successful. And now next we want to talk about Ascender's Bootcamp as far as the things that you'll receive a part of in the curriculum. All right, we have our problem and stakeholders, your revenue and pricing, solution and benefits, entrepreneur lifestyle, and then also competition and differentiation. And then we also have our pitching and storytelling, and you'll receive all of these things within the curriculum. Now we have our dates here. So I know I talked about the 5 dates are mandatory to be in person, where we're starting in April. April 15th is our day one orientation. And then we will have 3 days in a row the following week, which will be the 24th, 25th, and 26th, will be 3 bootcamp days. And then our last day, which will be our pitch day and happy hour, which will be on May 2nd. And then here's our timeline. A lot of people want to know, when will I hear back about my application? Have I been accepted or have I not been? So our application opened up on January 23rd. We had our first info session on February 4th. Our second info session was on February 19th. And then on March 6th is when applications close. The acceptance notices will be sent out on March 20th, and then we'll go into our bootcamp dates to give everybody time, starting on April 15th. All right, so now is your time for questions. Are there any questions from anyone? I do see we have some people that joined a little late, so if you have any questions, I don't mind going over anything again. All right. All right.
I have one question. So if you have two different ventures, do you and let's say you want to try out for both, can you do two different applications?
Yes, yes, you can do two different applications.
Hmm. Yeah. Oh, you can? Short
Yeah,
answer. Okay, awesome. All right.
it may look like you
I
had
was
some.
going to say you can submit two different applications, but we will probably only accept one of those companies.
That makes sense. That makes
Mhm.
sense.
Yeah.
All right, any more
You
questions?
mentioned the pitch day in the end. I was just wondering, will it be kind of like a trial pitch in the group, or will there be external people who we would be pitching to?
Yeah, so we will have our judges for pitch day. Um, there may be some people that are investors there. There may be some people that's not. So there is an opportunity for you to possibly pitch to an investor, um, and also to the rest of the group. And so we can see how far you can develop through the bootcamp.
Thank you.
I just had a quick question, mostly just asking for clarification. On the one slide for the eligibility, you had said it was for businesses that had revenue between $100,000 to $200,000 dollars. And like you had said that, but then on the slide it said 0 to 200,000. So I just wanted to get some clarity
Yeah,
which one that was.
yeah, I apologize for that. I thought I said 0 to 200,000, but yes, it is 0 to 200,000, not 100,000 to 200,000. I apologize.
Groovy. Awesome. No worries. No worries. Thank you, my friend.
If you have made more than $200,000, that's great. But you would be more like a better candidate for our Founders Hat program, and that's in the fall.
Awesome.
Mhm.
Thanks.
Yeah.
All right, Kimberly, do you have a
That
question?
kind of leads into my question. So, if an individual was to be accepted into the boot camp completed, what are next steps, or is this program separate? I'm sorry if I missed that because I know that you all offer several different programs. Does this lead them into a particular cohort?
That's a really good question. I can take that, DeAndre. So that's a really good question. But Ascender is, we usually have a boot camp and then an incubator. But this year we're putting our incubator on hold. And instead we'll invite founders to join the Ascender community and the workspace. We'll offer details next month about what this entails. But rest assured, all of the founders will have access to all of the same resources for incubation. But this year we're doing things a little bit differently where you get to choose what's right for you rather than committing to a full year program.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And then one other question, I'm sorry if you touched on this. Of course, my Zoom was updating. How many applicants are you accepting
Up to 40.
for? Okay, thank you.
Mhm. Also, Brian, that background is beautiful.
All right. Do we have any more questions? Any clarifications, any questions that we might not have answered?
I actually have another quick question. Will this program help you to potentially like acquire capital, like when we like connect with investors? Is that something that this program helps you with?
So I can take that question too. So we have invited um, judges and experts from all over, like the Pittsburgh ecosystem and investors. So you will have FaceTime with a lot of these people, and some of them are also people that we have worked with in the past. We have people from universities, serial entrepreneurs. We have our board members who are always looking, for ventures. We have people from just like many different Pittsburgh ecosystems for you to get FaceTime with. And there is a part of the program where we talk about like revenue and pricing, so that will help you kind of narrow down um, your pricing strategy.
Awesome. And then last two thing, I was like perusing your website, and a lot of the former companies that you guys have worked with have been like tech startups or like very like fashion designer kind of based. So like I'm seeing that there's like a lot of like a product, but I wasn't sure about like the services end. So is that something that like, so for instance, I'm a creative, my goal would be to scale my mural company and or potentially talk about my oh gosh, real estate like ventures. Is that something that you think would be a good fit for this program, or just because I don't know if that's something that you guys have worked with prior, or if not, that's okay. Just wondering.
No, I think you would be a great fit. I think you should apply definitely. I think that it just has worked out like that. Traditionally, we've just had a lot of tech companies apply, but we still have a lot of service-based companies. If they're not on the website, it's probably because they didn't send us a logo. But no, we do have a bunch of service-based companies.
Heard. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Last year, before you go, Emily, I want to say last year we had 2 or 3 creatives in our cohort.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, there's room for everybody.
That's awesome to hear. Thanks so much, guys.
No problem. Thank you. All right. Is there any more questions? No. All
I did
right.
have a question, sorry. And thanks for the props on my background. Sorry, I was a little slow on the unmute there. The question I had was, if you were going to point to things that are most important in the decision to admit a company in the assortment of things that you ask about, is there any like more important things versus less important things to really focus on, or is it just kind of a weighted average of all the strengths of all the different questions?
Uh, you usually all the questions usually matter, but also your solution and your problem are the main thing. We just want to make sure that we can help you. We don't just want to fill the room with people that, oh, hey, we got 40 people in here. We want to make sure that we have 40 people in here that we can actually help. So yeah, it doesn't, those are probably the most important questions.
Yeah. And DeAndre kind of went into this already, but like answering those questions around problem market and solution, like do you have a clear value proposition that addresses your market demand? Do you have a good idea of your potential customers? And have you had like traction or progress? Or if you have not, do you know like who your customer is, or have you put some effort into the viability of your business?
Thanks.
Yeah.
From
I have a question about application. Is
Mhm.
there an opportunity to include like an attachment for things that might not be addressed in the question, to like a logic model or data cycle, infographic, things like that?
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
I was going to
Okay.
say on in there, I believe there's a where you can add a link.
Hmm.
That you can also just email it to me and I can attach it to your application. As long as you have your name, the name of your business, and then I'll make sure that we attach it in.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Kimberly, you have another question?
Yeah. Um, when I was reviewing the application, if you're in the process of a pivot, and you're answering these questions, should you answer it based on, say, said 10 years in business or the direction you're heading in, if that's the reason for your application?
I would say where you're going next.
Okay.
Mhm.
And can you give me an example of tech-enabled business?
That is a really good question. Let me just pull up some of our current or our past bootcamp graduates. Um, so,
Stop sharing my screen if you want to
oh,
look.
Okay, thanks.
actually,
Yeah, and to elaborate on your question, Kimberly, we have worked with people who just have an idea, and then we've worked with people who have been working for the last 2, 3 years. So, if it is something that you are in transition, or we can kind of talk about where you're going to take it, especially if
Oh,
you are with that.
so yeah, sorry to interrupt.
it's
So like tech enabled, it's like, so we have our service-based companies. So for example, we had an organizing business. They are not tech enabled, and then we'll have apps. So those are tech businesses. So it's kind of like the in-between. So we have this past cohort that just happened, we had a lot of gym owners. And these gym owners are they want to have an app, but they don't have an app, or they want to be a bit more, um,
got it. That's what
yeah,
I thought. I just
yeah,
wanted to make sure that I was correct in my assumption.
yeah. But
Okay,
we are open to all businesses.
okay.
Do we have any more questions? All right. Well, if you guys do think of any more questions, like I said, you can find me and Ume. Our email will be on the website. You can reach out to us at any time. But don't forget that the application closes on March 6th. And then here's the information for the programs team. You have myself, Ellen, our program director, and then Ume. Um, and I believe that's it. Thank you guys. I appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
All right.
you.
You.
You guys
Take
have a
care.
good
Bye.
You too, thanks.